Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the burden of choices and responsibilities in your life? That nagging inner voice filled with doubt and uncertainty? That's the spark of anxiety, and it acts as your gateway to self-realization. How often do you feel trapped in your comfort zone, playing it safe according to others' expectations? What if your anxiety is trying to shake you awake, to unleash your true potential? Are you ready to confront life's hardest questions and take ownership of your existence? To dance with uncertainty and leap into the unknown? Then join me as we explore the journey from anxiety to triumph. The spark of anxiety. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff, peering down into a vast, unknown abyss. Your heart pounds rapidly in your chest. Your palms sweat. You feel dizzy and disoriented. This intense blend of fear, excitement, and disquiet is anxiety. We've all felt anxiety's unsettling pit in our stomach when facing major decisions or challenges in life. For most people, anxiety feels like an adversary, a force that blocks our path forward. But what if anxiety also holds the seeds of awakening and growth? The philosophers we will explore saw anxiety not as a mere psychological state, but as a gateway to self-realization and unleashing our true potential. First, Friedrich Nietzsche, the bold German philosopher, believed the death of God and religion would plunge society into a state of nihilistic, meaning-depriving angst. However, Nietzsche saw this anxiety as an opportunity for people to transcend traditional values and morph into Übermenschen, beings of supreme creative power, passion, and originality. Jean-Paul Sartre, the French existentialist, viewed anxiety as arising from the human predicament of radical freedom to define ourselves through our choices and actions. This anguish can paralyze us, but it also awakens us to take responsibility for our existence. Albert Camus, Sartre's contemporary, embraced life's inherent absurdity and meaninglessness, which provokes profound anxiety. Yet Camus encouraged us to heroically revolt against nihilism and create our own subjective meaning, no matter how small or temporary. Finally, Søren Kierkegaard, the sensitive Danish philosopher, saw anxiety as a natural response to life's uncertainty. By embracing this anxiety, we can be compelled to take leaps of faith beyond the rational and pragmatically live passionately in accordance with our internal truths. 4 thinkers, 4 perspectives, but one underlying message. Within anxiety lies the potential for awakening. Our anxiety signals that there is more to life than social conditioning and comfort. If we can face the darkness at the edge of anxiety, a world of triumphant self-realization awaits. Will we take the leap? Nietzsche, Dancing with Nihilism. Nietzsche's bold ideas and dramatic proclamations match his larger-than-life reputation. When Nietzsche declared the death of God, he meant that Western culture no longer viewed Christianity as a credible belief system or moral authority. For Nietzsche, this loss of faith plunges society into nihilistic despair. Without God, absolute morality vanishes. No divine external authority exists to instruct us on our purpose or proper values. The staggering realization that life has no inherent meaning or greater purpose brings on immense dread and anxiety. Nietzsche calls this profound disorientation European nihilism. Yet Nietzsche says yes to nihilism. He sees the death of God as liberating. Now humanity has space to create our own meanings, values, and purposes without clinging to old religious myths. we can transcend chasing divine salvation and fully develop our capabilities here on Earth. Nietzsche envisions a new type of person who can courageously face the anxiety of nihilism without flinching. The Übermensch, literally meaning overman or superman. The Übermensch boldly confronts the apparent chaos and meaninglessness of existence, yet creatively affirms life and invents their own meaning and values. Unconstrained by traditional morality, the Übermensch is willing to question everything and smash old, worn-out idols and conventions. They don't naively cling to comfort or fleeting happiness as life's supreme purpose. With courage and creativity, they say yes to suffering and harness it as fuel for their own self-overcoming. Their will to power drives their life as an ecstatic work of art. The Übermensch dances dynamically with anxiety and transforms it into a Dionysian ecstasy that radiates creative energy. They thrive on risk and welcome the challenges of worldly existence. In the face of despair, the Übermensch cultivates an insatiable zest for life. Are you ready to join the dance? Jean-Paul Sartre. No excuses, radical freedom and responsibility. If Nietzsche wants us to be heroic Übermenschen, Sartre demands nothing less than godhood. Sartre insists that as conscious beings, we are condemned to be free, and with endless freedom comes crushing responsibility. This predicament is the root cause of much of our pervasive modern anxiety. Since there is no merciful God or innate human nature to shape our essence, we are radically free to self-define through our actions and choices. But this also means we must bear the weighty burden of our own freedom and take full ownership of our lives. Sartre sees this as both a curse and blessing. Anxiety arises from the knowledge that we alone shape who we are through our decisions, both minor and major. We are forced to continually make choices that shape our essence, aware that each one has lasting impact on our self-definition. It's enough to make your head spin with anxious anguish. Sartre calls this constant burden of responsibility and self-awareness anguish. Our inherent freedom provokes profound anxiety. Yet for Sartre, fully assuming responsibility is the only way to live authentically. No more bad faith excuses or blaming external forces. We must courageously stare down the barrel of human existence and make choices that align with our values, even in an absurd, meaningless universe. This requires unrelenting, radical honesty with ourselves, a painful look in the mirror. Time to own our choices, no excuses allowed. Camus. Revolting against the absurd. If life inherently lacks meaning, why not just commit suicide and conveniently escape this existential mess? This was Albert Camus's central concern. He saw life as fundamentally meaningless and absurd. Like Sartre, existence for Camus is inherently irrational. Recognizing life's intrinsic meaninglessness provokes profound anxiety. But Camus says the proper response is to symbolically revolt against the absurd condition. Not political revolt, rather an inner revolt giving birth to radical human freedom. By heroically accepting life's absurdity, we gain the freedom to take joy in transient moments. Camus calls this philosophical suicide, embracing mortality without physical suicide. In this way, we can revel in each fleeting experience, creating whatever subjective meaning we can. We must imagine ourselves as Sisyphus, content with his absurd fate to perpetually roll a boulder up a hill for eternity, only to see it roll down again. But we avoid ultimate despair by finding happiness and purpose in the struggle itself. Camus says we should minimize suffering out of human solidarity, yet he rejects constructing morality based on some non-existent higher meaning. Like Nietzsche, we must craft our own personal morality while accepting life's irrationality. The meaning we create is always contingent and temporary, fated to be washed away by death. But Camus urges us to savor these moments of subjective meaning and absurdist freedom. The fleeting significance we make glows against the darkness. Kierkegaard, leaping with passion. If Camus wants us to create transient meaning despite life's absurdity, Kierkegaard seeks transcendence through faith. He argues anxiety arises from our inability to grasp life's uncertainties and riddles using reason alone. Kierkegaard saw mounting anxiety in his society amidst rapid social changes. New scientific ideas and philosophical skepticism challenged church doctrine, making many feel spiritually adrift and anxious about the afterlife. To cope with this angst, Kierkegaard says we must make leaps of faith beyond reason's limits. Rather than logically prove God, we passionately commit to religious belief. This existential leap requires trusting our internal experiences more than external authorities. We shut out the noisy crowd and take ownership of our personal relationship with God. Kierkegaard connects authentic faith to living passionately with commitment. He thinks only those willing to face doubt and anxiety head-on are capable of genuine faith. So are you ready to take the leap? Kierkegaard would say yes, make the flying existential leap into the unknown. Let go of fear and stale customs to boldly become your true self. Leap with faith's passion. Amp the volume. For our philosophers, anxiety is an inescapable facet of the human condition. Whether stemming from confronting meaninglessness, exercising freedom, or facing life's uncertainty, anxiety seems unavoidable. Yet they challenged us to befriend our anxiety, even amplify it. By leaning into anxiety's intensity, we can jolt ourselves awake. Nietzsche believed the collapse of old values could unleash human creativity. Sartre wanted us to fully accept freedom's burden. Camus called us to live rebelliously, defiantly spitting in nihilism's face through subjective meaning. And Kierkegaard told us to embrace faith's absurd unknowns. Their message slices through modern distractions. Our culture often encourages us to numb anxiety through medication, addiction, or mindless entertainment. But perhaps anxiety signals it's time to wake up. The philosophers would ask, are you playing it safe in your comfort zone or boldly confronting life's biggest questions? Do you truly take charge of your existence or just passively drift? Is your life ignited with passionate purpose? Turn the volume up on your anxiety and actively listen to its message. Let anxiety be the spark that illuminates your path forward into triumphant self-realization. Lean in and let anxiety awaken you. Just do it. The thinkers we've explored offer no definitive solution for conquering anxiety, but they provide signposts to guide us on this murky road. Nietzsche called us to creatively self-overcome. Sartre demanded relentless honesty. Camus said to live rebelliously, yet with compassion. And Kierkegaard told us to embrace faith's irrational passion. There are no easy answers when staring into the darkness of existence. Yet, patterns emerge. Challenge assumptions. Take ownership of your choices. Resist conformity. Turn anxiety into fuel for growth. And if life has no obvious meaning, have the courage to create your own. We could synthesize their ideas into one approach, as Alexander the Great did when confronting the impossible Gordian knot. Unable to untie this knot, Alexander pulled out his sword and slashed through it decisively. Contemplation was not enough. Action was needed, so draw your philosophical sword. Anxiety grows in stillness and contemplation. To unleash your potential, at some point you must leap into unknown territory. The answers you seek lie on the other side of anxiety's edge. Our philosophers would likely urge us to stop overthinking and just live passionately. You alone bear the responsibility to become your highest self. Live boldly, as if you are already that person. Cut loose the ties of fear and stride forward, come what may. This is existentialism's heart, to thrust ourselves into the unfamiliar, refusing to accept externally imposed limits. As Sartre declared, man is condemned to be free. Freedom is daunting, but it beckons us to live authentically. Your potential awaits beyond anxiety's cliff edge. Look into the shadows, breathe deep. Now raise your foot and step forward. The rest is up to you. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you have any other questions or topics you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date.